let's get it done. So 246 hero, still 246.
Still 246. Yep.
Nice. And how's it going? What are you doing? What are you liking? What do you want to go towards? Give me the rundown.
I like hero. Mobbing kind of sucks, but it's still fun. I enjoy making bosses explode and making lines go burr, so that's always great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's one of my friends in your chat. Yeah. My goal is pretty much, I think I want to blow up H Lucid.
Mm-hmm.
I did a BA before patch and I hit 1.4T, and I just logged in and did another BA and I got 1.9.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
That's a
so
30, yeah.
I need to basically double that.
Yeah. Well, that's already like a 35% increase, so that's already a good start.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So I'm just I'm saving a lot of money for the upcoming 5, 10, 15 and possible cube sale and
DMT. It seems pretty much confirmed at this point if people are having the pop-up with the registration and the dates. So people had so some people have the DMT update in their screen right now if they're logging in, and they can even click through and register for a date already between the 22nd and the 26th of July. Sorry, not of July, of December. So it'll
be DMT.
Yeah, for DMT. So there's a chance that coincides with a cube sale. It's also a chance that it doesn't, because remember last time when we could pick the date, it didn't have a cube sale that went with it. So, but yeah, DMT, of course, you might be slightly past the point where that is something that you'd really need to look out for, right? Because I see you have most things legendary already. So,
yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 items that are still unique.
Yeah, that's not worth holding a lot of money out for. It's only if you're going to be re-rolling and you need to cube sale. That's the only thing.
My Kana is just below the point where it can farm an Arcana, so I'd be able to use the DMT there at least.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, so you want to blow up Hard Lucid, and that's just like the midterm, and like that's just the goal. And then, do you have aspirations of going towards Tenebris and stuff like that as well?
I mean, obviously, I'd like to kill Black Mage, right? But that's a long, long way away.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I mean,
well,
I'm gonna
it's
get
not obvious. Some people are like, I'll never get there anyway. So like, if I ever get there in like 3 years, maybe. But that's not something they want to preoccupy themselves with at all.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, if I kill H Lucid, kill Will, upgrade to Arcanes, and find that I'm still really enjoying the game, then I'd probably want to push for Black Mage. But right now is H Lucid.
Okay. And you're
H Lucid, H Will, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And you already been doing the normal for Lucid, but not for Will yet?
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. I got a consistent party, and we pretty easily kill it in about 10 minutes right now. So that's pretty nice.
And everyone else is like around your level, around your funding as well? No one too far behind, no one too far ahead?
I think so. I think the strongest guy in our party is like 32k Wild Hunter or something along those lines.
Right. So that's about a 28k hero.
Yeah, exactly. I think I BA'd in our last run, and I did about like 6T during P2. So.
Yeah, Wild Hunter did get some nice checks though, so that's cool. And where do you find yourself training at? Is it still LP1? Do you go to are you in Moonbridge, or do you hang out in Celis?
Yeah. So I've been, like, you see my Arcane Force is just below 1095, which is needed for VC3. So I've been kind of farming in Last Horizon 2, but mostly this month I've just been going nuts on my Kana and saving totems for when my Arcane Force hits that 1095, so I can go to VC3. And I'm probably going to try use the rest of my totems on the month in VC3.
Okay.
Since I one-shot now with the patch.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge increase. And you're okay with 4 totems? Totem coverage and everything? That's all fine?
Totem coverage?
Yeah, like
I mean,
you can cover your month with
all.
how many totems? Yeah, okay. Okay, alright. I'm not seeing anything egregious in the hyperstats or anything. You're aware of the changes with the hyperstat presets?
Yep, yeah, so that'll be also nice. I'll be able to get rid of that 11 IED.
Yeah, for when you're training, and then when you're mobbing, or when you're bossing, you might not need the Arcane Force, and then that can go into some other stuff.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be really cool because you're around that level, and again, like for everyone watching at home as well. Up until this point, it's probably fine to have like a hybrid setup for hyperstats for both mobbing and bossing. It's probably fine, but once you get to this point, you get so many hyperstat points that it actually becomes pretty beneficial to move it around, go into EXP, go into damage to normal monsters if you need to hit to be able to one shot or be able to two shot whatever you need to do reliably to increase your rates when you're grinding. And then when you're bossing, you can probably get rid of some other stats that you might not need as much. If you have familiars, you know, like boss damage familiars that also have crit or something, maybe you can go lower on crit rate. Stuff like that. So speaking of crit rate, how are you doing with that? You're hitting 91 and then 100 with Sharp Eyes?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And is there any...
I was a bit lazy with the grid. That's why it's 91. But
oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, well, 1% is never going to make like any huge difference. So, oh wait, you did a BA today. How high did your final damage go?
I didn't look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think...
But probably pretty high.
Yeah, I think during Lucid with Domain, I think on my hero it went like 5, like, because you can do the World Reaver temporary increase, right? And then you have it like really high for just a little bit during the World Reaver buff. I think with that, I think I hit like 540% before the change, so... I'm guessing if you add 60%, oh god, it's gonna be 900% plus. Yeah, that's gotta be over 900.
I'll keep. Yeah, I'll have an.
It'll be off screen, honestly. It'll be off screen because the 9 is probably not already like because I have right now I have 100 and something %, and the 1 already doesn't really fit in the box very well because it's 2 digits. Two what do you call them? Like digits behind the period.
Decimal points?
2 decimal points, yeah. So it's 5 numbers in there and a percentage, and you're gonna have like nearly 6 in there, so it's not even gonna fit.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, nice. Out of bounds. And then your damage bonus is way lower now, probably. That's a little weird, probably, to look at that small number, right?
Yeah, it was something like 50% without the arc link active when I was being. So I guess it goes up to like 60, 70 now, but yeah. Yeah, you have to like build the stacks and everything to make sure that you're at optimal memes. Okay, Star Force. Yeah. And you're this is like a repeat session, right? So you're pretty familiar with the repeat session?
Well, the wait, haven't we done one before?
Nope.
Oh, we haven't. Okay. There's someone else that sounded a lot like you. Never mind. Might be confusing with someone. How familiar are you with the commands that I have? Very familiar. Okay. So I guess before we like get into all of this stuff, is there any topic, any mechanic in the game that you feel like you lack a lot of knowledge on and you could really use some extra explanation on? Or just a clarifying questions? I don't know if you have any written down.
I mean, like I have a couple of questions that I think would be more relevant later on. I guess as we get to the relevant topics.
Okay.
Like one thing I was wondering was boss flames or boss percent flames on my weapon.
Yeah.
I guess like how much better did they just get? Probably a lot better. So it'd probably be pretty valuable for me to dump a lot more flames into like my weapon or an arcane weapon when I get it into getting a good boss flame.
Yeah, you're talking about getting boss damage percentage on usually that was already what we went for, because when you hit, like, let's say you hit a tier 4 on damage, it's just 4%, but then on boss it's 8%, it doubles. So it was already the best value, but you're right, like comparatively it's going to be even more important to get that. A lot of times when you're looking at the progression grid, right, and you're looking at the plus, usually what that means when it's like the tier 6 plus, essentially what people will be aiming for, and I think that's going to stay the same, but it will be emphasized a bit more, is like a tier 6 in attack and then a tier 5 in boss, so that it hits up to 10% at least. So if you hit like tier 4 and you hit tier 3 and you also hit some damage, as long as the damage and the boss damage together is like 10%, that's probably what people are going to be aiming for. Yeah. And then on that topic of like optimizing flame on an arcane, because obviously when I get an arcane, it's going to be pretty like I'm going to be sitting on that forever, but flaming things when it costs you like 2 bill to hit a flame, it's pretty awkward to flame a weapon that you're currently using. So like do I just sit on it for a while, spam rainbows on it, go for T7, or
is it kind of settle on T6 plus 10% then in that case?
Oh yeah, for sure. Tier 7 is something that very, very few people get. People did it with like the compensation, right? When they were just sitting on 10k flames and they could just go ham. Honestly, what people will most likely do is, aim for tier 6 plus and then get some boss damage and get some and get a tier 6, and then probably just use like the event black flames so that you can always go back to the previous one if you don't roll anything higher on an arcane weapon as like a kind of like a Hail Mary basically.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's probably what you're doing. I mean, for the other arcane pieces, I guess, not the weapon, just to elaborate, it's mostly going to be the same where you just try to get to a decent flame first, and then you just go for the other ones, and then as you go, you'll just have like a certain barrier in mind, like this is a number I'm going for, and then you'll like slowly, one at a time, work their way up there. Because again, if you have one item and the flame completely goes to shit, that's not going to really hurt you anywhere. You just don't want to do it with all your items at the same time, because then you're going to feel it. But as long as one item is like under construction, that's not too bad.
Sure.
Okay.
And then the only other things was like, what am I going to Terra burn? But you haven't even seen the Legion yet, so.
Yeah, well, we can go to the Legion. We can we can start there and then work our way up from there. So like Legion and links, is that all pretty clear? Like the order and what to work on? That all makes sense.
Yeah, so I think I have mostly my links worked out. There's a couple links that I still would like to get, like the the Demon Slayer link is up high on my list.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
But for Terra burn, because I was thinking to Terra burn the classes that really suck to level and not kind of use it on a Demon Slayer because they are supposed to be pretty easy to level. I don't want to burn the Demon Slayer, although I know that it's one of the next ones that I should get.
Yeah, right, the question is, are you going just for the Legion, or are you going for a potential bossing mule? Because then I would say the Demon Slayer would be a good candidate, because you can also get to the point where you can like kill CRA pretty quickly with it and get that boss crystal income every week if you want that as a side revenue source.
I mean, potentially. I mean, I'm already running, like, my Kana is already kind of a bossing meal as well, and so
yes, 230.
there's only so much time in the week.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if you are maxing out on your totems, and that's something that's completely up to you. Do you want to keep it open as an avenue? Because the thing is, right now, like I would say, if you're not open to bossing mules and whatever, you just burn for the board, burn for the Legion board. But there is a lot of value in making a Terra burn, especially like all of the nodes and the stuff that you get. You can get some of that. You can move some of that around. You can open up all the nodes, extract them all, and then make node stones that are transferable again, so you can get some of the value back. But if you can keep them all on the character, of course, that's way more efficiency. And if that opens up a bossing mule, if it's a character that you actually like, then that could be a really fast way. But again, the boss crystal change didn't really go through yet, and it depends on how much time you have available and if you think that is a value that you need. And from what I heard, it is, pretty strong. I did mine a long time ago, but it is pretty strong and can level by itself, so it's not necessary to Terra burn. I guess, what were your other options?
My candidates was Paladin and Corsair, just for the strength blocks on Legion, and because I hear they're a pain to level. But I feel like there's a lot of classes out there, and I'm probably missing some obvious choices that might be just better for me.
Yeah, there's definitely some. Well, you're looking specifically for level 3 links, right? Because if you're Terra burning, then you really want to get to 210. Like a Terra Burnator coupon or something like that, or events. That's kind of really good to drag characters up to 200. But if you're doing Terra burning, I would definitely look at level 3 links specifically for that.
Yeah, I guess Demon Slayer is the go for that, I guess.
Yeah, or it would be like one of the I assume that most of the important ones you already have at 140, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it'd be like dragging a Beast Tamer all the way up, or, well, you can even make one at the moment, I don't think. I didn't see that mentioned, so we probably have to wait for that. Would be maybe like a Demon Avenger, but yeah, then you're looking at 70 levels increase versus the other character would be completely new. Plus, you're not at 40 Legion characters yet, so you can make all the levels count as well.
Okay.
So I think DS is a solid pick, and then if you end up not wanting to boss with it, or you don't have the time, then at least you have it like on the back burner for if it does become so valuable that it's necessary. But from what I heard, their 5th job spike is just so crazy that it makes the 5th like C-Ray bosses just a joke. So yeah, it could be cool.
Okay.
You
Yeah, that
could
might be
even
an option.
yeah, you get even rewards up to 220, right? And then like with the fake soul lab and everything. So if you get all of that on one character, you could kind of boost it, or you could take the fake soul lab on another character that needs to help a bit more, just to get it to 200, maybe on the Mercedes or something, so you can actually train it. Because it might be a bit weaker.
I'm hoping to bonk that.
Yeah, there's some bonking potions. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think was it Maple Live or something that's giving us extreme growth potions as well. So if I can bonk it to 200, struggle 2 levels, and then bonk it to 210, I'll be happy.
Yeah. That seems like a path that is possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I do not want to play Mercedes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's got some level 130, 140 gear on it, so it hasn't gotten as much love as it could have. I can tell by the by the equips. Not a crowd
as much
favorite.
Love as it deserves.
Okay. The way Mercedes means. Okay, they can't hurt you. All right. Yeah, other than that, I mean, there's definitely some characters that are very valuable. They get up to 200, but I think the main thing when it comes to gains is just to fill out your 40 slots and just fill out more characters and just, swarm the Legion with little tiny dudes that help you get up to 6k. A few more 140s should be pretty doable, right? You got the Terra burn, you probably get to 210 at least, so that puts you at 4,500.
Like I've been pushed Legion really hard. So now I'm kind of backing off and just using burns. Like I started playing in July.
I see.
And so it starts getting kind of annoying to level up to 140 for the 29th time. So I'm mostly, I think, just pushing with burning now one by one, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll just hate training soon. I don't know.
Well, I mean, for a hero, it's a little bit of a block, but if you can get to VC3, it should be pretty dope, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
You can finally getting cards now, so that's nice.
Yeah. I got really lucky to open a large drop familiar from the first and only booster pack that I ever had.
Oh, wow, that is very lucky.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I just opened a large drop Dio, which was pretty good. And I think I've opened one like 30% IED familiar, and then I just used 2 other 15s, and that's kind of my bossing setup right now for familiars.
That's solid. That's a very solid start. Yeah. I mean, I guess, so, depending on what you want to do and depending on the current event and your coverage and everything, I would say there is a lot of value in just, squeezing out like those 10 last characters and just getting the burns in. But there's another Terra burn at least coming, so, you can at least leave another slot open. But yeah, like I said, like the level 210, like that gets you to 4.5, and then you throw in like 10 more level 100 characters, and that gets you to 5.5. Then you're pretty close to that 6k. Also, 5.5 is huge because then you get to put 5 extra characters on the board. So that's always a nice big boost, and that should be able to carry you over to getting to 6k. But for 5 to 6, that's probably going to be just squeezing out a few 200s on characters that are very valuable for your account. So that's mainly looking at stuff like either 210 on like the Demon Avenger and the Arc. Those are very good level 3 links, or. Wait, where is your... Oh, Evan is right here. Okay. Maybe a level 3 Evan for maybe another Terra burn if you want to get that buff, because it's a very, very good buff that helps your entire account. Or, that'll just be your next bonking character, whatever happens. Or level 200 on a Jetta or Hayato would also be very valuable, because it's another 2% crit damage. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but since, crit damage on the board is 2 to 1, that means that giving 2% and having another slot, it's basically moving or growing from covering 3 slots to covering my math brain is freezing, to covering 8 slots, right? Or I guess if you 2% critical damage counts as 4, and then an extra 1 because they level, it's actually comparatively to the value of other characters, it's quite big.
Okay.
So that's why those 200s are highly advisable.
Yeah, I used my Terra burn from the Lara pre-creation on the Shade, and that felt pretty nice to get, but not the biggest fan of Hayato's leveling so far. But
yeah,
just got to struggle with it at some point,
pretty straightforward, like you just have the Rai Sunren Sun and then the AoE, and that's pretty much it. You just alternate. Yeah, not to just turn off your brain. And yeah, you probably want to throw a little bit of money at there, a little bit of funding to get it going. little bit of the accessories, a little bit of star forcing, a little bit of occult cubes, and then. So that's what I usually do to trickle down. I guess I usually don't go into that too much, but with all the flames and the cubes that you get on your main, eventually they're not worth much more there, right? And I guess your Kana is probably getting to the point where she can't really use those that much anymore either. Or still?
My Kana still makes pretty good use of
okay.
Most
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Flames, so.
But then the Kana will get to a point where you can't really use them there anymore either, right? It's always a good idea to, at that point, start figuring out, okay, what is the next character I want to actually level on, and then start trickling down the flames and the cubes to that character. And then when you really get to like, okay, now I want to get from 140 to 200, the character will be pretty strong. You know, like if you can get the weapon and the emblem and a secondary to unique, maybe with some nice lines, and maybe get like a Sweetwater weapon on it and get that one to epic. That'll be a very solid foundation on getting those last levels grinded out.
Okay.
And so usually that's what I do, like one character at a time, so that the grind to level 200 doesn't take as long, because they're basically going to be... I mean, at this point, they're basically funded like a level 100 character, right? I mean, they have level 140 equips on, but it's probably all just a little bit of Star Force, maybe like 3% stat on some of the pieces, right?
Mostly. I think I did push most of the... Like, I had 10-star... from 120, I
Like, transferred it over?
I farmed them in... Yeah, I've transferred Star Force pretty well, so I think most of them are around 10-star Pencilier at this point, and whatever epics I managed to get from like the runes.
Right, yeah. So some epics, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you'll get like plenty of gold cubes right as you go, so then you can start rolling on all the characters a little bit before you start.
Yeah, I got like 2,000 banked right now.
Yeah, nice.
Like that,
yeah.
So.
Even a few 100 mil can easily make your character like 2 to 3 times as strong. To lock out those levels way easier than what you would do without.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a sub. Let me think that one real quick. Yeah. So, did you see anything in like I guess because like looking at dailies and weeklies and everything, events can always kind of mess that up. Well, let's check for. Do you have any other questions with Legion and Lynx, or is it all like clear? Do you know what the next Terra burn is that you want to do?
Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. So I think I'll probably like take your advice and do the DA or DS, sorry.
Just now,
and then probably for the DS, and then probably following that, like it seems like they're mostly set, so I'll probably just do like Paladin or something like that.
Yeah, if you're just trying to get the levels in there.
But I'll take another hard look at the links, because I'm just drawing a blank on my next level 3 link that I really want, that I don't already have at 140. There's probably one that I'm not seeing. Oh, like AB probably.
Yeah, if you don't have an AB at all, then it will be a big difference. Yeah. And
I hadn't considered too much about like the importance of the level 3 link from the burn. So
yeah, because you're definitely looking at going past 200 just because you get so much extra value out of it, and then level 3 link 210 definitely comes into play. So. There's some good ones in there, so yeah, keep that in mind. Okay, so the next thing, I guess, with like when you're talking about like generally doing dailies and weeklies and stuff, is also the event things, right? So I don't know if you were there for the for the patch, the quick patch review of a mere 3 hours. Were there any things in the shop that you saw that you definitely like need to get, and are willing to put the time in for?
Well, I definitely want the droplets, as many as I can grab. I didn't take that close of a look to admit, like at the shop. But basically, for the most part, it's like the droplets. It's the want to get the fairy heart for my Kana. I'd like to. And I think from there, I don't. There's nothing that really caught my eye aside from those.
Yeah, you already have really good rings, so you like the event rings and all that stuff is.
Yeah. So I got those from the last Neo Castle.
And Eternal Flame. They're a really solid flame foundation to start with. You can go quite far with this.
Yeah. So then I'm planning my Kana's gonna get the event ring from this event, and yeah, I guess that's about it. I'll probably just end up buying cubes and flames or whatever else I want from the shop after I've exhausted all
all the necessary
all the droplets I want to drop, and also node stones. For some reason I forgot about those.
Yeah, the droplets are from the weekly shop, right? So there's not much stuff there. Like it's from doing the weekly bosses. It gives you the black beans. That's where you buy all the droplets, and then with the leftovers, the only thing you can buy is nodes. Is flames from that shop. So that's pretty straightforward.
So I mean that speaks for itself. But I think probably the other shop I'll be looking at getting as many node stones as I can as well.
Nodes and symbols probably in there, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the symbols, of course.
I guess when it comes to nodes, wait, you now have your V matrix in here.
I think I did. Is it not?
I don't see it. You could, well, if you can you send a screenshot now and send it to me?
Sure.
We have large amount and small amount on the. Oh, also on a Dio. I also revealed that on a Dio from a booster pack. That is such a weird coincidence.
Like the summary of my boosts is that like most of the things are like level 5, 10, like between probably around level 10. Burning Soul Blades level 24, and all my perfect trios are maxed.
Okay, and did you go for 4 or did you go for 2 trios?
I went for like 2 sets of 2 trios, so 4 total boost nodes in my V matrix.
So you've got like the up jump, the rush, the shout, the puncture.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's already all maxed. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the rest is like level 5 to 10. And you're using decent combat orders, decent speed infusion, decent sharp eyes, decent holy symbol?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you
I'm just logging in now and I'll grab you a screenshot.
Yeah, okay. But I guess, more importantly, if you have any questions. But yeah, nodes is definitely valuable. You want to get that Burning Soul Blade up, and that's, of course, kind of expensive. But it's almost up there, right? So next is...
I'm crashing on startup, so I don't think I'll be able to get it.
Nice. And I guess next is like instinctual combo, right?
Yeah. That's the idea. So yeah, my mobbing setup is like the trios, Burning Soul Blade, instinctual combo, holy symbol, sharp eyes, speed infusion. What is it? The shield.
Blitz shield,
Yeah, Blitz shield and Urda shower, although I don't use that one too much. And then bossing, I put in Urda Nova. What is it? Oh man, it'd be great if I could log in and look at my V matrix.
Bossing within the
all the ones that you already, all
combat
the ones that
orders
you already mentioned, right? Yeah, combat orders.
Maybe the advanced blessing.
Maple Goddess blessing.
Yeah.
And weapon aura.
And weapon aura, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's basically my swap, and those are all kind of level 10-ish, like 10 plus 1 or something. Plus or minus 1 or 2.
And do you feel like you ever need impenetrable skin? Because you do have your, God, I knew the name when I started the sentence and now I forgot. You do have the knockback resistance in your Cry Valhalla, right?
Yeah, I do. So I've never actually socketed in the that V matrix skill. Yeah. It
does get really good once you do like Hard Lucid, because she does like radiating damage, and it also builds up damage as you're going. And of course now with the reboot passive change, any kind of percentage damage increase is comparatively going to be more efficient now. So it will be nice to start slotting it in there. But that's probably once you reach like 250, that it's like the next one when you're bossing, I imagine.
Yeah.
Do you ever use rope lift when you're doing Lucid, or you just rely on your up jump?
I'm an up jump gamer.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever actually touched rope lift, even though I've heard that it's very good. I just kind of, out of principle at this point, just refuse to use it because the up jump feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I know it's probably something I should do.
It can get you like all the way up pretty quickly if you're like if you're just on the bottom left of, or like in the bottom middle of Lucid. If you go one platform up and then jump to the side rope lift, it should like snap you all the way to the top. And it can also help in Spirit Savior in sometimes because it stops your momentum, right?
Yeah. I'm mostly just lazy to learn the rope lift mechanics, but it's probably something I should get on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you have the True Reckon Reflection, of course. We both forgot about that one. That's of course a very good one. World Reaver's already 15. All right, there's some good levels there. Yeah, that's really solid. Oh yeah, this is when you're bossing. No, mobbing?
Yeah. This is mobbing with me too lazy to switch out of Urda Nova.
I see.
Yeah, let's see. The levels, I guess, level 7 instinctual. This is without the socket boost. It's like 7 Instinctual, 24 Burning Soul Blade, 13 Sword Illusion.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking
9
at. Yeah.
Holy Symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. 15 World Reaver, max boost nodes.
8 shields.
Level 8 Blitz Shield.
Yeah. And
Wait,
the other ones
you can see this.
Yeah.
Wait, you can see the level of these?
Wait, yeah, they're here.
Where the hell does it say it?
Here on top.
Oh,
Little numbers.
I never saw the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wasted my time reading all this out.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a little bit.
Great.
But
All right. Sorry.
I didn't know. Yeah, you can see the numbers up there.
Oops.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay,
small
great.
now that I'm just used to looking at it because, they also have like the little stars at the bottom, which kind of mirrors the level up, but it makes no real sense to look at those stars. I don't know why they're even there.
Yeah,
probably
I thought you were just looking at the stars. My bad. But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can.
you
You
go.
can see the levels up top. Yeah. You have 8 and then 6. Yeah, and you're leveling up the blink already. Yeah, and you have this. And there's nothing really to say up here, I guess. Like you know about the general order, right? You're working on not Burning Soul Blade, well, Burning Soul Blade, and then Instinctual combo right after, right? To increase that burst, to blow up the boss, and then it's probably Sword Illusion and then World Reaver, I'm guessing.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the order is kind of like it's not super
That's super
well defined, I
distinct.
guess.
Yeah.
Weapon Aura is another option that I'm looking at because it gives a bit of final damage and IED. So
it gives good uptime as well if you level it.
Yeah.
It gets pretty high uptime, yeah. But that's the thing,
I
right?
don't use it while mobbing anyway, so
Yeah, true.
it's
Well, while you're bursting, since your burst is quite short, and you want that final damage from Weapon Aura specifically during your burst, leveling it up, I always see it as a little bit lower of priority. If someone has a longer burst or they're more DPM heavy, then Weapon Aura gets more value, of course, increasing your final damage over longer periods of time.
okay.
I'd probably go for... I'd probably do Instinctual combo, then Sword Illusion, and then from there on, it's probably pretty much a toss-up, whatever you prefer using the most. It might even be the Goddess Blessing at that point, just to increase your burst even more, especially if you're trying to blow up Hard Lucid.
Yeah, true. It doesn't seem too hard to run the numbers either way to see what's the most bang for my buck there.
Yeah, or you just ask like a higher level hero, like, hey, what did you go for? Or if you see BA or something of higher level heroes, you can kind of see where they get all their damage from. The fact that the Blessing, of course, increases the damage of everything, that's probably that's pretty good in it, and it gives quite a lot of extra stats. So probably, if you're more burst heavy, probably go for that burst skill, I would say. But yeah, you got the boost nodes all done. You're leveling all the nodes. I don't know, it all seems pretty clean.
Great.
And now you learn that you can read the numbers up there and that they actually mean something. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess sometimes you just don't even notice that things are there anymore because you're just used to never looking at it, right? And now you're like, how did I miss that the whole time? I've had that with other things before. Well, there we go. Cool. So any other questions for that? For V Matrix?
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident in my V Matrix. I think like it doesn't seem like it's that much. It's not rocket science.
No.
Sockets in, activate skills, go burr.
Pretty much. I think in the beginning though, like the first week, it's a lot to figure out. But if you see the right guides, you see the right information, and someone can explain it, simply, then you're on your way. Okay, yeah, link skills are kind of just like the extension of Legion, I guess. Don't know if you had any specific questions on which ones to use here. You were talking about getting the AB link and the DS.
Yeah. I think those are probably going to be pretty good. I mean, the AB link with the final damage change is probably going to be ridiculously huge.
That's going to be pretty necessary, yeah, especially if you're burst heavy like you are. The other thing I'm looking at is, like, since you have pretty low critical damage, you get critical damage from Instinctual combo, I believe, right? Is it
from Instinctual? No, it's from... I think just Enrage gives crit damage. Enrage gives crit damage, and...
I know Puncture, if you debuff, you get more damage on crits, but that's not critical damage, but it's like 20% damage when you hit a crit on a debuffed, I think, right?
Yeah. That's... Yeah, critical hits deal 25% more damage.
Wait, what is... what does Instinctual combo do then? Does that not give crit damage?
Instinctual?
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't...
Does it give boss damage?
It gives final damage, damage to bosses, and attack power 11%, at least at my level.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so since your crit damage is on the lower end, that's probably because you don't have crit damage, like crazy crit damage gloves, yeah? Or yeah, you have one, yeah. The other thing is, like, the crit damage is going to go up a lot from your Legion grid and from those characters that we mentioned from the Legion. And then the other thing is also that the Kinesis link is also 4% critical damage, which seems like not very much, but if your critical damage isn't very high, when you look at it like final damage-wise, it's actually a big increase.
Okay.
So that probably is one that you want to use. And then, yeah, you benefit a lot from the Legion.
Level?
I think it's fine. It has like quite an elaborate like storyline in the beginning, but I think it's quite okay to level. Yeah, and it's only a level 2 link skill, only goes up to there, so it's like a fine character to just leave at 140 and then never go back to if you don't like it, you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's not like a burn. Like maybe if they have like a mega burn, you can blow through it, but definitely not like a Terra burn candidate, because you have some links that you can definitely move out of without it being like too crazy, right? Like the Keen Edge. I think your ID is probably fine, so Bravado is also more of a filler. Yeah, you have like 95, and you don't have a line. Oh, you have one line on your weapon, okay. But you don't have the level 3 links, and you don't have the big Legion yet, so that's a lot of ID, and that can still come, and that will, once you have that, you'll be able to, you know, finally move out of your line of ID on your weapon. But until then, you can definitely break with the ID link skill, I would say. I've just kept Lightwash in there, but you can definitely get rid of Bravado and Keen Edge, and there you can fill that up with some more damage. So like the Kinesis link and the DS link, and then if you have the AB link as well. If you have the AB link, I probably want to put that in for the Adventure critical, if you can get more crit from other sources by then. If you can't, I would put it in instead of Elementalism.
Yeah, I'll just put more in on the grid, really.
Yeah, or yeah, switch grid around, yeah, exactly. Though yeah, Elementalism, again, we shouldn't underestimate that the damage value for some of these went up quite a bit. Yeah, so probably going to be a good idea to use some calculators and kind of reassert how the stats are comparing to each other and how valuable they are compared to each other. Because of course 10% damage is not as crazy before the patch as after the patch, so that is something to make sure to be aware of.
Okay.
A very small amount. Oh, Zelpex is in here, yeah. Oh, Zelpex, the order for the Theme Matrix skills in general, after Burning Soul Blade, would it be the sword? Oh, weird. Instinctual, then Illusion, then Goddess, and then Weapon Aura, Word Reaver, whatever. We can double check. Zelpex is like 275 hero, so. World Reaver last. Okay. Yeah, because it already hits a lot, and you're just using it to get the final damage, and for mobbing it already kills anyway, so it's just a little bit maxi. Okay. Gotcha. And then, well, Impenetrable Skin is probably after. Impenetrable before BSBs and Trios first. Yeah. His BSB is already 24 and the Trio is already maxed, so he's good on that. And probably early on, you can move all the other skins in when you're bossing, right? You can remove the second Trios because the damage they do.
That's what I already do.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so when I switch to bossing, I take out Holy Symbol in the Trios, and I put in Maple Goddess, Weapon Aura, and Combat Orders.
Yep. Okay, clean. Yeah, that's a lot of final damage as well, but Combat Orders. For a lot of classes, Combat Orders like, oh, you get like 1% more final damage and 1% more critical damage, and like that's cool and all. And then meanwhile, Hero uses decent Combat Orders, and you get like what, like 18% final damage or something. It's like, okay.
That's pretty nice.
It's kind of broken. Devise, the boss crystal was not mentioned in the patch notes yet, so we're probably waiting on that for the next ones. Okay. Any other questions for link skills?
No. Pretty good on that.
Okay, cool. And yeah, we have familiars here, but you know what you're doing with that, and you know where you're going?
Yeah, basically just use until I've got 3 epic familiars with either boss or IED, and then start pushing for uniques after that. Yeah,
big boss damage, large healing ones. Remember to keep those as well for upcoming bosses. Yeah. Especially in the beginning when you're learning the bosses, and then as everyone gets better with the mechanics, you can slowly wean off of them and go harder on the damage, because then, you know, it's all about clearing it faster rather than survivability is not going to be as important then anymore.
Yep.
But you got the large drop, so you got a really good setup there. It's a very solid one to get immediately off of a booster pack, so
yeah,
definitely count your blessings on that one.
I think it was in our I still hadn't unlocked Asphera when I opened that or something. It was
nice.
It was pretty nice.
That's even better than the people from way before, because they'll just use the spider. But then, you know, if you have enough drop rate in your kit, then this extra drop rate is even better.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that works, right? With meso drop rate and the item drop rate and all that stuff?
Yeah. The item drop on the familiar doesn't affect the chance to get meso bags. It's only for the drop rate of everything that isn't meso.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. Okay, so here are your backups, so your dineros. Are you building up your boat, or are you going straight up for dineros?
I've got Dreadnought already,
okay.
so
cool.
I've just been running Commercy every day. I'm at 550 now.
Mm-hmm.
Since that screenshot.
Okay, nice.
Gollux coins are, where the hell are they?
Like 200 then?
Probably like 150, 200 by now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere there.
130, yeah.
130, okay. And is that going okay? Is that being killed daily, or?
Yep, yeah.
Gollux? Yep.
Pop them every day. It's going pretty well.
And you have 2 superior belt backups, or is that a reinforced?
And 1 ring. 2 superior belts and 1 reinforced earring.
Reinforced, yeah, okay. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell.
Sorry, 1 superior earring.
It's a superior? Yeah, the colors sometimes bleed a little bit into each other with the colors that they have based on their stats, right? Sometimes it's a bit hard to see. Okay. All right, that's cool. That's future proofing, and then you have 5. Are these all real dominators, or is that one the fake one?
They're all real. They're all real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
so
didn't.
I'm throwing my flames. So the flames that I
yeah.
get right now, I just throw them at another dominator. I have 1 transpose pendant, but I figured, you know, I have 1 transpose pendant, yes, but what about a 2nd transpose pendant for drop?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I'm just throwing my random drop flames onto.
Mm-hmm. For drop or for meso specifically, right?
Yeah, well, for either or, just to use while farming instead of the Mechanator I've got on right now.
Yeah, so you say either or, and I do get that part for now, but you also want to look at the future proofing if you're going to be moving away from Limina and into Cernium and Burning Cernium. Right now, it might be that the barrier is quite a lot lower now because of the final damage change, monster HP change, all of that. But like for my characters and for most people who were like around my level to try to switch over, it would still be very hard to switch over unless you had very strong quote-unquote drop gear, but you don't really want to go for drop rate. You want to keep as much damage gear on as possible. So you would want to go for, if you can, for transposed item with purely just meso obtain, so that you can still get like 100% meso buff from your equips, and then you just get all of the drop rate from your familiars and from boosts and coupons and that kind of stuff, so that you can still keep clearing at a high speed while still also maintaining a decent income.
I see. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, by the time that thing actually ends up getting transposed, and by the time it becomes relevant, it'll be pretty comparably cheap to roll it to one line drop, 1 line stat anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or 2 line, like the ideal situation would be like 2 lines, right? So that you have your 5 lines of meso and 3 equipped, so you'd want to get 2 with double line meso and then 1 with meso and stat, so that you can kind of still get like a decent amount from those slots. But again, like I said, it's possible that by that time, you know, if you're going further with arcanes and everything, it's possible that at that point you don't really need that much damage at all anymore, and then you don't have to, you know, put as much pressure on. But yeah, just keep that in mind in general for the functionality of the pieces.
Okay.
And you have 3 Meisters and 2 kind of treasures, maybe 3 by now.
Still 2.
Still 2. Okay. Well, that's another thing that like having a lot of drop rate also helps with, is building up those backups, and that
there should be 3 there. I don't know why. Oh, because I was wearing the 3rd one. Or, yeah, right. 2 backups.
Oh, you have 1 for damage.
Yeah, so when I took that screenshot, I was wearing one of the Kana's treasures.
Right,
so
right. Yeah, yeah.
At least I think I was.
Yeah, the 15 star. Yeah, and then the Meister. You already have both of those for damage, and then you're using what, superior and.
Yeah, so the last 2 slots will be superior and reinforced. I've got, I think I'm wearing the superior. Yeah, it's up there.
Superior, yeah.
Yeah, and I recently bought the reinforced, so I'll be planning to push both of those to 17 star in the upcoming 5, 10, 15.
All right, cool. Yeah.
And probably DMT them also up to legendary.
Yeah, and then for now you have the. Well, I guess I guess if there's anything else except for the equip specifically that you wanted to ask about.
Yeah, I mean, just so my plan is I've got like 17 bills saved up right now. So I'm basically planning on yeeting 20 bill or so into star forcing at the 5, 10, 15. I feel like my lines of potential are pretty good right now. So my thought is that I'm basically just gonna everything that isn't 17, I'm gonna push to 17.
Yep. Including the drop rate stuff, right?
Yeah, including drop gear, and then push the CRA as high as I can go. Like on average, it should hit 17. Or sorry, the CRA should on average hit 19 with how much meso I'm gonna have saved.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. So that's the plan, and I wonder if I'll be H Lucid ready after that. Probably not. I think I probably need to get another few stars on some other gear.
19 CRA, everything else 17. Check on the flames as well. Now you got the skill cooldown. Oh, and 15% strength. That's still pretty nice for a hat. Skill cooldown reduction, very useful.
Yeah.
All those world reavers.
Nice training. Yeah.
Yeah. And the survivability for bossing as well. A lot more situations you could just pop it.
Yep. Exactly. And yeah, I guess getting the boots to 2-line as well would be a bit of a difference.
Nice Xenon cape.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2-line attack and strength on emblem is fine. 2-line boss and attack on a secondary. That's I mean, if you hit 3-line attack on the weapon and then the emblem gains an attack, then that's probably as close to best in slot as you will want to spend.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm touching my WSE for the next while. Like the upgrades seem just very, very expensive to go for 3 lines.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The only idea that was there was to go for like 2-line attack, 1-line boss on the metal, but that's also like 35 bill, so it seems a bit inefficient for now. Yeah,
that's I think that's inefficient compared to this, especially because of the increased value of damage now. I think the main thing that you want to do for this is just long-term plan for the arcane weapon and then set your sights on going hard on that. And that'll probably be like 2 lines of attack and 1 line of just anything useful, most likely just strength or if you hit boss damage on that, then even if you're sitting on like 3 lines of boss damage, I think that's probably still fine and probably still pretty close to best in slot. That's probably something that you only touch if your CRA is like 22 and all of your accessories are 20 or 21, and your arcane, you're considering getting your arcane to 19 or redoing your potential on your weapon or something. That's probably the situation that you'd be in at that point. In like order of magnitude of expenses. Yeah, but it sounds like a solid plan. That 5 and 15 is definitely like the thing that you can do most on, and then CRA. Yeah, do you plan to like stagger the CRA, or do you want to do one item at a time?
Yeah, I'll roulette tap them one by one.
Yeah, because I think 19 seems reasonable. Because you have a lot of stuff that's already at 15, so just bumping up 15 to 17 seems pretty doable. But yeah, you know, if you feel like a bunch at 16, it can get very expensive really quickly. So let's hope that doesn't happen. We got the backup ring. Yeah, so the coins for the rings, symbols are going nicely. Choo-choo is probably maxed or almost.
Choo-choo is gonna max after reset today.
Okay, nice. And then Vanishing Journey close to 18. These all 12. Yeah, that's all solid. And then Lakaline should pick up a little bit with the extra 4. What floor are you clearing on Dream Defender?
90.
Okay.
And that's pretty hard. I failed it once or twice, but yeah.
Like when you get a side spawn, right? If you have to move to the side first, and then Do you use guild skills to run it though?
No, not. I usually use my guild skills for to make Helix a bit smoother. And yeah, I don't like. I think if I pop my burst for it, I can clear it just fine. But pushing to 100 is kind of I'm not anywhere close to that.
But in the push, have you tried to use that with guild skills?
Yeah. So to push to 90, I was doing the regular. Yeah, I popped guild skills, full buffs, and then the bell every floor.
Yeah, might be after the maybe after the 5 and 15 if you get all the 17 stuff. With the guild skills but pushing with a hero is kind of hard because of the alternating with the skills. There's a big difference between the DPM and the DPS, so it's always hard to climb. Whatever you can climb to, you can always guaranteed clear, but climbing up there is the hard part, yeah. There's no shame in staying at 90, obviously, all the way until you max it. Probably if you move into Arcanes, at least will help you get up to 100. But even then, it's just one extra symbol a day, so it's not woo crazy or anything. It'll just slow it down by hopefully 2 weeks or something in the whole process, so or speed it up, I should say.
What am I really looking at in terms of gear upgrades if I don't want to ideally I think I get my arcane weapon from a box drop. So I'm thinking that in a perfect world I'll sit on Absos until I'm clearing H Lucid. So what am I looking at in terms of gear requirements at that point?
It'll probably be passing 19 on the CRA and hopefully getting to 21 there. So not this 5, 10, 15, but hopefully the 5, 10, 15 after that. And then the other thing is for the accessories, for the Gollux accessories, it'll basically just be a case by case on how much room you have to wiggle. So for the earrings, if you do, if the next 5 to 15 comes around and you do have 3 or 4 superior Gollux earrings backup, you could be okay, I'm just going to try to send the earrings themselves, maybe to 19 at first and see if you can do the other ones. Some other ones might be harder, that is harder to get backups for. If you don't have belt backups, you can always do the ping bean belts and transfer over and then redo the potential. That's usually one that people elect to do, 21 or maybe 22, but 21 into the belt and then try to get the belt back to 21 if you have backups, or stay at 20 if you don't have backups. That's usually the way to go if you have 2 or 3 belts. That's usually what I like to do, 21 ping bean into it and then try to pop back to 21 and then redo the pot. After the event, if you upgrade to 21 and you don't do the potential yet, it's probably about a net wash, and then the potential becomes an upgrade again once you have the money later.
How many backups would you feel comfortable with to just send it? Because my earrings, right? I hit the 3-line pot on the earrings, so I'm not too keen on re-rolling those.
For sure.
So I'm wondering how many earring backups am I gonna realistically want before I really try YOLOing that. I know the calculator says 5 or something like that, but I don't know.
I mean, if you have at least one, you can always try and see if it goes. I'd be if you have one, I'd be more inclined to just send it to 19 and then hold off on 19 and then maybe see if all the other stuff gets up there. And more spend on on the belt to try to get the belt into 20 or to 21, and maybe even if you have enough kind of treasure rings and Meister rings, if you're sending those up to 20 or to 21 and you have even more, then you can go for the secondary there and transfer hammer that into the superior, and then dominators into the superior pendant. I probably just get the earrings if you want to keep the potential, and and you're looking for backups and you only have 1 or 2, I probably just get it to 19 and get all the other stuff to 20 or to 21, and then probably even the CRA up to 22, and then circle back and see if you got extra backups in the meantime.
Okay.
And that way you give yourself just, you give the RNG a little bit more time to catch up and hopefully give you backups. And if it does end up not working out and you end up having to go back down to 17, then from 19 down to 17 is not that big of a deal, and it's pretty okay. And then you can always, probably have a bunch of reinforced earrings by then, and then you can just go that way and basically treat them the same way that you treat the superior or the, treat any of the other superior gear, right? You either keep it at 20 until you have another backup and then try again. But that's the rough one, right? If you have one backup at 20 and you try to go for 21 and it booms then having to go back down to 17, that's more of a mental blow, again, because you're still going to be able to do all the same content at the same speed, but mentally that's a little bit, it's a pretty big setback, and that's not going to feel too good.
Okay.
That's how I would look at the accessories, because, especially the ring and the pendant are pretty expensive to do the 20 to 21 bump. So that's going to be kind of up to you by the time you get to that. If you have, enough coins to get a backup, do you want to do it immediately, or do you want to sit on 20 for a while and maybe save more time at that point to go harder on the arcanes? Because, I mean, you've looked at the calculator a little bit. Getting your Arcanes up to 19 is really good gains for, like, very good bang for your buck with pretty low risk. But, it does have the risk, though. So, it's something not to postpone too far. But it is pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of hoping to sit on 17 Arcanes, but I'll have to double check of how good 19 is. It would just really, really, really suck to boom.
Yeah, it definitely would, yeah. It's mainly one of those things where you just have so many droplets and so much money, and there's an event, and all the other stuff is even riskier. Like, the other stuff would be getting superiors from 20 to 21, and you just don't even have the Gollux coins. Like, so it's not even an option. Or you actually get a drop and you have a backup, so it's like, fuck it, dude. Yeah.
I mean, by the time I get my superiors, or by the time I've got like my CRA to 21, and all the easy backup stuff is up to 21, and I'm starting to look at superiors, I would hope that I have, like, a lot of coins banked anyways.
Yeah.
Backups.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
I mean, I think my impression is that I've got plenty of stuff with a lot of backups that I can spend a lot of meso on before I even have to worry about Gollux coins.
Yeah, you're probably looking at least 2, but probably 3 5-10-50s into the future.
Yeah.
So, and that's roughly every, like 3 to 4 months, so you're looking almost like half a year at least into the future, so...
Yeah.
That's going to give you quite some Gollux coins, and then you can be a little bit more liberal with you're mainly doing it for buying backup reinforced and just having the safety net in case the superiors go boomsy.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the very solid drop rate gear. Up to 17 will finish that off quite nicely, and you've got the line of stat, or like something of stat at least on all of them, so that helps carry the weight as well when you're grinding, not to lose any kill speed.
Yeah, that was my goal when I was rolling the gear. I just maybe it would have been better at the time to just go for just a single line without the stat, but I don't know. I kind of insisted on it to myself, and I'm kind of happy I did that in hindsight.
Yeah, it's not that much more expensive. I mean, yeah, it would have been way cheaper probably in the beginning to just do. So usually I advise people to do the one line and then then start making the money back immediately. And then, but then if you do have the money, like pump it back into the gear to make sure that it's like finished, quote unquote, in that way before you start like hard grinding. So that you, because especially once you move into the next area, if you can get like an extra 60% stat just from your drop rate gear, that's very welcome most of the time.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty solid. Flame on a cup is very, very solid. That's probably not going to get touched for a while, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe if you get a hard will book drop, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I haven't even done N-Will, so...
Yeah. I've seen 2 books so far and like 380 runs, so... That's
very encouraging, thank you.
Yes, just give you like reasonable expectations, you know?
Yeah.
I will definitely encourage you to start doing the boss, but yeah, don't have too high of hopes.
The other thing, I guess, was the black bean mark. I mean, right now I don't have a face accessory or an eye accessory that's damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'm not sure. I feel like I'm gonna spend a few bill rolling a black. I'm gonna drop a black bean mark, spend a few bill tearing it up and rolling it and star forcing it, and then gonna drop a pat mark. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm kind of afraid to roll. To roll an eye accessory for damage, but I guess it's probably one of those things that I don't want to do, but I should do.
Yeah, I do get it, and I see this in a lot of the progression sessions. I don't know how many you've watched, but a lot of people are like hesitant to go too hard on the eye because they're like, what if the pat mark drops? Again, like for reference, I got 2 pat marks this week, and in total I've gotten, I think, like over 20, but that's over multiple years on a lot of different characters. And when it comes down to it, they're like Zelpex, the hero guy in the chat, like he ended up getting a magic eye patch from Hardamian before he saw his pat mark. So that happens too. So yeah, it is all over the place. I would definitely say don't go too overboard. I think it's totally fine to go for 17, even to 19 star on a regular monocle. I don't think that's an overinvestment, because then if you do get a pat mark, that just means you're going to go higher on the standard that you're going to put on the flame at that point, and you'll still find ways to make that upgrade very much worth it. unless you get a eye patch before before you get a pet mark. Yeah.
If I roll a monocle and I do drop a pat mark, the monocle is legendary. Does it? I know that if you transpose like legendary fodder into a Sweetwater, it keeps legendary, but does it work the other way around?
No, so it takes the potential with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Feels bad. That's okay.
But again, like at that stage of the game, if you're looking at like min-maxing, flaming, and transposing, and all the other stuff, and you're thinking about like moving into arcane stuff, redoing the potential from an item up to legendary is like, that's just par for the course, right? Yeah. It's just a small speed ticket to pay for, at that point, a really big upgrade compared to all the other stuff that you can make for the relative cost. Or you can redo the mark. The monocle just for drop rate, right? So you have, because that's the one thing you can still do for the build-up is that you go for a full drop rate set, right? So you can go up to 200% at the end of certain bosses or when you're running certain bosses, so you roll out of the meso stuff and in full drop rate gear. So you can get even more soul shards, flames, cubes, all of that stuff.
Yep, that's the plan in the distant future at least.
Well, that could be for the monocle then, right? And then you just transpose the pat mark into a new monocle at that point with cleaned in arrows, and that way you don't even have to lose much of that value there. So that's always a contingency.
Or just get 2 transposed monocles, right?
Yeah, I have that on some characters as well. Yeah, my arc has that. One for one transpose for Meso Obtain in Burning Cernium, and then one transpose for damage. Yeah. Where's my?
Yeah, no problem. It'll only take me a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I got the eye patch finally after 66 weeks of running. We got an eye patch, and then it boomed 20 to 21. So that was feels bad, man.
Yeah, I saw that one live.
Yeah. At least we transposed it. So yeah, a little bit, but I mean, I don't have like any illusions of like, oh, this is definitely gonna work copium or anything. Like I know it's probably not going to. So I usually don't get disappointed very much by these things, but it's just another one of those. Yeah, well, I knew it. What are you gonna do? And the best part is, if you ever get another one, there's also a chance that the next one just booms 17 to 18, and you don't even make progress, right? So that's always a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yep.
Oh well. Until we get some kind of pity system, it's gonna stay that way.
Yeah. What can you do? Okay.
Yeah. There's not
Sounds
much to do. Exactly.
I mean, my impression is then, based on what you've said, is that I'll probably, I like my black bean mark for drop. I'll probably wait for as soon as I drop another black bean mark, I think I'll roll it immediately for damage. Yeah,
that's the other thing. You can also completely kind of just not use monocles at all and just use black bean marks that you get, because you're not going to go to 21 stars anyway. Some people would, like I went to 21 on mine before I got one drop, but you're generally staying until before 20, and you'll have set bonus with this one, and you can just get it for free and save your dineros for backups later, which is always going to be useful because one backup pendant is already 400. So
yeah.
So
it's the non-flame advantage that's the big feels bad, I think, about
also
a non-transposed monocle.
Yeah,
I feel like also just cheaper.
And the black beam mark has the flame advantage, so at that point, might as well just use black beam marks for sure. All right. I guess the general order of all the other stuff. Yeah, I guess once the coast is clear and you're seeing like, okay, we just had 5, 10, 15s and stuff. The next 5, 10, 15, I might need so much money or so many more backups. It's actually unlikely that you'll get to that point, for example. And potential wise, everything is pretty good, and there's no real imminent or immediate thing that requires all my money. At that point, it'd probably be a good idea to circle back to flames and just start optimizing those a little bit. Yeah,
I know. My CRA flames are a little bit subpar.
Exactly, yeah. And it's something that definitely I think is okay for now, but if you get into kind of like a valley of, oh, there's nothing really to spend on anytime soon, that'll be a good moment to dedicate a little bit more money. But again, like I said, right, like also if you do more flaming, if you get do more bossing, and especially if you get that full drop rate set, you're going to see a lot of flames dropping, and then just one item at a time, slowly work your way up. You're probably going to get all of them to like 100 flame score or above, like 105ish. just from bossing. And then if one is just like very stubborn, very hard-headed, and it doesn't want to go there, then you can just like brute force it with flames, or maybe from the current event, right? If you buy out all the black beans, right? If you buy out all the droplets and you have left over, you can buy some flames there and maybe try to brute force it a little bit. But yeah, because it's totally fine to kind of neglect the flames and not go super hard on them. But there is, you know, like your shoe is really nice, right? The 119 strength. And the cape, I guess comparatively, is pretty much in the same wheelhouse. The glove has some attack, but like the glove is definitely a bit weaker than the other ones. But again, then you're looking at the arcane stuff that's coming up, and with the arcane stuff, you're gonna have enough work cut out for you to get good flames on there. But they can get some really nasty flames.
I think I'm still. How many coins is it for a weapon?
If
I wanted to buy a weapon?
Coins is 24 coins and 216 droplets. Yeah.
So I'm not even halfway to being able to buy a weapon from the store. So I think I'm sitting on Absos for, you know, for at least a couple months probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to get really lucky with drops early on if you want to be able to switch early.
Yeah.
What is, I guess as part of that, just the extra mention, we should be looking at like the next patch soon-ish should probably have the changing of the set bonuses somewhere. If you saw that from KMS.
Yeah. So I will not have to go to an Abso hat basically when I get an arcane weapon. Was the gist of it. That I saw.
If you want to keep the boss, you still want to do that, but the gist of it is that if you have even just one extra piece over the weapon, then you basically can just immediately swap it out without a huge damage loss to the arcane set bonus. But if you only do the weapon, you probably still want to do the Abso hat when it comes to bossing and the damage, depending on how important it is going to be to keep your... Right, if your hat is like 21 stars at that point, that might be a pretty big downgrade to switch back to an Abso and get like a 17-star Abso hat or something.
But that's like 10% boss damage versus 50 flat attack from the 3-set CRA. Is the 10% boss really better than 50 flat
yeah,
attack?
well, yeah, that's the thing as well. Like at that point, if it is changed by then, so I don't know exactly when it's coming, right? Because it wasn't announced in this patch. So if it does come around at that point, then it won't be necessary anymore. Especially not if the hat is also star forced over. But for now that it still has the 30%, at least I think it still has the 30%, right? Like I guess I didn't check.
I was referring to after the set bonus change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. You got it. No need to drill deeper into that. Okay. Yeah, guild skills and all that stuff. Hopefully, it should be a little bit easier to get those guild skill rolling. But yeah, using those for Helix. Yeah, because the Helix is not the greatest boss designed ever.
Kind of annoying on hero.
Yeah.
Can't clear potatoes easily. I just save all my burst for P2 and pray that will skill clears them out fast enough.
Do you just put this burning soul bit like in the middle half and then kind of hope that at least the other half doesn't get too far or something?
Well, when you dodge the hands, you have to jump outwards away from the head, and that detaches the sword half the time in my experience. So I wait until P1 is a tiny sliver of HP.
You could also go down. You can go up or down as well. If you go up, it will detach as well. But you can also go down. You could down jump.
Yeah, but I'm not good enough to do that.
Okay.
My reflexes are too shit.
Okay,
So,
okay. World Reaver, baby. Just World Reaver it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I do for P2, right?
I
just kind of sit there and make Helix eat my BA, and it kills him quick enough.
Yeah, exactly. If you can burst it down, then you don't have to worry about all of those weird dodging mechanics. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Okay, stats are coming along nicely. I guess the empathy inside. Okay. Yeah, anything you can think of, throw it at me. I'm just gonna scroll back through everything and see if I missed anything.
I mean, so we got a 50% off event coming soon. So I'm kind of looking at my IA.
IA, yeah.
Because it's 9% Mesa as my second line, so probably I'll want to reroll that, I'm thinking. But the crit second line is just so expensive to hit on average that I'm not sure if I want to do that now or if I want to save up like 4 mil honor XP before I do that, or just spend the 15 or I think it's like 8 bill of circulators to hit it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the IA is just kind of a very like everything is a feels bad situation. I think.
Yeah, so I recently did this exact thing on... Well, I tried it on the hero. Didn't work because I spent like, I think 6 bill on Cirques and didn't get it. But I did get it pretty quickly on the Cannoneer, so that's why I pushed a little bit harder on the hero, because I was like, okay, you know, overall on average I would have spent this much, so I'm just going to push a little bit harder on the hero, see if I get it. But the Cannoneer hit the 20%, but then on 50% off, it still took me 2.5, almost 3 mil on 50% off to get the attack speed 1 back.
Yeah.
So that's
probably
yeah.
I want to save up a lot before I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, losing the attack speed 1 would be pretty bad.
It's only for solo though, right? Because if you're party bossing and you're with a Kana, then the domain still makes your attack speed go max.
True.
So, and that's where you're doing most of your damage. So it's not the worst thing for party, but yeah, but for solo bossing, it's gonna feel like you're just stuck in the mud. You have to get used to that slower, and then when you're mobbing, yeah, or you have to like move into a one-handed sword to get the attack speed back up. Yeah. And you're pretty set on just staying two-handed sword?
Yeah, not really. Like I mean, it's like a 5% damage difference between sword and axe, and I like the look of the sword more. So I'm sticking with sword.
Okay.
Don't really want to switch to paladin, so yeah.
Not yet, you know. You don't know. They're just gonna become godly one day. You're like, oh god, no. I mean, at that point, you just buy an arcane two-handed hammer or something, right? At that point, you'll just be so decked out, you can just buy one and then move into that.
Buy $100 worth of Smegas and Smega buff here until next on listens, you know?
That's the Zelpek strategy. Just keep spamming buff hero. Hero is just in a really good position at that point because in KMS they're just not overpowered at all, and they keep needing buffs to be able to be competitive there. So you're just in a very good spot that those buffs are just trickling down, even though, you know, arguably don't need / deserve them. Although it's not like people in the end game who are doing like black mage and stuff are just like closing their eyes and rolling over the black mage or something. It's definitely a kit that's solid, but it's not completely out of tune or anything. So with all the tweaks that you've been getting, I mean, yeah, the content becomes more doable, but you're definitely not like a crazy overpowered class or anything. So I think it's not too bad. So it's within reason. I think you agree, right? But buff hero?
Yeah. I think, yeah, but buff hero. I think World Reaver is kind of a crutch for heroes' kind of poor mobility overall. Like, you know, we get a single flash jump. The charge is pretty bad for mobility, so we kind of just need.
Do you ever use that chain thing?
Oh no, I unbound it.
Yeah, I don't have it on the key either.
I've seen like pro heroes just jumping around getting 25k Spirit Savior.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
if you need 10k
I'm too small brain for it.
Okay, yeah, I agree, 100%. I'm right there with you. I see people like, but you use it so well in Spirit Savior. Like, well, I have it maxed already, so I feel like I'm okay on that one. There might be some memes where it's useful, but yeah, I have it on the Marksman as well, right? Like a very similar skill, and I feel like, yeah, you can kind of use it for memes, but it's just not that necessary. Like, it's like one of those things where if you have it, you find a use for it, but if you don't have it, you'll just solve the problem in another way. It's kind of how I see it. Combo Fury, yeah, that's the name.
Yeah, like I think I've seen some mobbing rotations that might make use of it, that make you a little bit more efficient, but like, yeah, can't do that. You
ever see those mobbing rotations in KMS where they use Weapon Aura to clear like part of the map?
No.
They like you have Weapon Aura and then hit like to a corner of the map where there are monsters, and then Weapon Aura will kill them, and as they jump the other way to like optimize their monster kills, because they're training on like bigger maps, right? Because they don't have the spawn increase, so they go for bigger maps, and then Weapon Aura actually gives them the horizontal clearance that they need. It's really interesting. They were like training in like True Fet 3 or something.
Oh jeez, yeah, well, because they don't have spawn enhancers.
Yeah, and then they like jump into the bottom and then teleport back up, and then Weapon Aura to one side, and then they do the whole rotation in like 4 seconds so that it synchronizes, or is it 5 seconds now? Synchronizes with the Weapon Aura. It was pretty interesting, pretty ingenious to see, but I was like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to do this. Yeah, not a huge fan, but more power to them for figuring that out.
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Jetlink, I guess, is good enough for me not to touch anymore, right? I mean, people say like 32, 33, so I mean, I'd kind of settled on the 31 attack. Probably.
Yeah.
It'd probably cost me way too much to reroll that, I think.
I think it's in overall cost, it's not that much, but not that much means very different things to different people. There's definitely a lot of, like, considering all of your other stuff, there's more stuff more pressing matters to spend on now, for sure. Eventually, you could consider rerolling on this, but that's like the time that you throw everything into a calculator and you really see how much am I getting off of weapon attack and strength and how expensive is any other reroll, and then you might come back to it. Yeah, because the attack is just so much more valuable, you know, comparatively to the strength. Because if you can get like a 34 attack or something like that, that's basically going to have the value that if you had like 24 strength now. But if you had 34 and 24, you'd be like, oh, I need to reroll that. But if you see that's 33 and 31, you're like, oh, those are both pretty close. It's kind of a similar thing when people roll like their stats on their Chaos Ring. Often they'd be like, oh, +3 on both, that's pretty good. But if you get a +4 on the attack, that's like as good or maybe even better than having a 4 attack and 0 stat, right? So sometimes, since the number is the same, you kind of get like a false sense of security there. I think that's what I have, though. I think I have like 32 strength and then 34 attack, if I'm not mistaken. But I think you have to go on the jet to... Can you actually check it now in-game? Oh, why does my game just keep closing when I'm not even doing anything?
Yeah. I keep crashing as well. Yeah, I have to go on the jet to roll it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, but you're... yeah. Yeah, I think I have something like that. So I think eventually it becomes worth it. But like you said, not right now. No, not right now, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
You can move on out of other things like the Hayato and the Bravado first before you do anything crazy there. Yeah, I think Kinesis Link will be nice because it's actually weird how low your critical well, not yours specifically, right? But like Hero's critical damage is, even with the 9 critical damage, and you have a line on the gloves, and you do have some in Legion already, and it's still at like 38.
I think it might be missing in Rage, which is another 20%.
Right, and Rage does a lot. Yeah, true.
When I took that screenshot, I'm not sure. I might have missed it.
Yeah, I was like, there is something that gives critical damage, but I misattributed it to the instinctual combo. Yeah, it's in Rage that does it. Yeah. But again, like for mobbing, of course, extra critical damage is always useful. Make sure you keep that base damage up.
Yep.
All right. But yeah, for invulnerability, that makes sense. All that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not
100 for a while.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there might be one more round of, well, maybe even more that we don't know of yet, of course, but like one more announced from KMS at least, rounds of changes to invulnerability coming that might even make critical rate a little bit easier to get.
Yeah, I think they're doubling the rates of unique lines, basically.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then slightly increasing for epic, but hopefully that will... Because you have to circulate to get the lines, right? Hopefully that will like, at that point you have more honor experience, and then you'll be like, okay, now it seems more of a reasonable thing to go for. But again, you need the honor experience to reroll your top line, so you're kind of just time gated by that.
Yeah, that crit damage is clean, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be about, I don't know, 60 something, I guess, with decent sharp eyes.
Oh yeah, decent sharp eyes is 8, yeah.
Yeah, it goes up to 66.5.
Yeah, okay. Now we're talking, right? Yeah, because 40 is like, ugh. 66, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, even then though, the Kinesis Link is probably still worth, but yeah, that makes way more sense. Great Rate is impossible. Yeah, I've spent a lot in my time. I finally hit it on one character last time I went for it. Finally got it on the Cannoneer, and then I was like, okay, now I can get it on the Hero as well. No, no, but at least one character has it now, so slowly working on to the next, because I think I have 4 characters that want it. So that's the downside of mainly playing strength characters. Pretty much all of them want that crit rate invulnerability. Maybe even 5 if I include the Adele. I think they can use it too. Ugh. Oh well, you can always just settle for 10%, guys. Honestly, at this point, if you roll a 10% epic line, I would say keep that too. Because the epic percentage is going up a lot as well, so that might even be a reasonable thing to go for. Okay. Anything that you still want to ask before we wrap it up, I guess? I mean, not that you're out of time, but... Well, we do have 10 minutes left, but I think we covered everything.
Like, I kind of have to go pretty soon
Okay,
anyway,
oh yeah, true, yeah, you said you had to go soon, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think that pretty much answers all my questions.
All right.
I think at least like mostly reaffirmed that I'm not doing anything too stupid right now.
No, I don't see anything crazy. Yeah. No, I think you're very well on the right path. Yeah, you're just gonna have to let the game's RNG on the drops mainly decide where you get to push first and where you might want to hold off a little bit later.
All right, perfect.
Okay, well, best of luck with everything. Thanks for waiting for the patch note stuff. I guess the game was down for most of it anyway. You were just hanging out, but I appreciate it. But yeah, best of luck, and I'll see you around, and you can always reach out if there's anything else. And yeah, it seems like you got most of it sorted, so good.
Cheers.
Good work so far.
Thanks very much. All right.
All right.
You
See ya.
have a good one, then.
Yes, you too. Bye. All right, cool. Yeah, you have to go soon, so glad we still managed to squeeze it in before you had to go after the big patch note reboot. But yeah, man, yeah, there's not much I could teach this guy. He's familiar with most of the commands. He's everything is brought up pretty well. Like the only thing is like the flames are a little bit down, but I'm not going to tell you like drop everything and work on your flames, because that's just not the play right now. Working on the 5, 10, 15 definitely. I think the only thing is like, yeah, you want to hold off for the Arcane. That's going to take a while. You want to push your CRA further. And then maybe, you know, if you think you're going to be stuck in a situation for a while, maybe work on the other accessories, right? So you can go for a full drop set and work on a damage eye, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, you're just holding off until either a drop, or you're holding off until you get all of the droplets, or you get enough boss clears, and then you get to go full Arcane, which is hard. So the main thing, I guess, this is kind of like a blessing that he doesn't have that much to figure out. You can just look at the event, look at what he wants to get from the event, and then just go hard on that now. And with the knowledge that you're not really sacrificing a lot of progress in any other part of the game. So that's good to know. But yeah, so hopefully this was at least helpful for some of you guys. I know we didn't get into super detail on any of the systems, so if you have questions around that, you can always use the commands in my Twitch channel. I have about 200 of them that will inform you on specific pieces. I'm still working on updating the event calendar, and I will be updating the progression grid. I'll either be doing that later today or tomorrow. And the game is very unstable right now, so if you're crashing a lot, yeah, you're not alone. We are with you. Oh, and the chat just moves back to the middle of the screen every time. And apparently the colors... The colors of your chat also change every single time you crash, so that's really cool. You know, wouldn't be an excellent update if it didn't have some issues. But yeah, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for getting all the way through the video. Again, if you want to win one of these sessions as well, make sure you leave a comment in this on a YouTube video saying that you would want to win. I give 2 of these away every month, so at the end of the month I check all of the videos and check all the comments, and I pick 2 at random. So if you want to win, make sure you do that. And I currently have a bit of a backlog for the sessions, but I'm already all booked up until next Friday, I believe. So like more than a week in advance, which means that there's going to be a steady stream of these videos coming out. So if you enjoy these and you watch these during your totems, don't fret, there's more and more coming. If you want one of these sessions pronto and you don't want to wait until the end, or you don't want to wait too long, make sure you reach out to me. There's a link in the description that you can get all the information on the steps to go through and how to contact me and how to do everything with the payment and everything like that. I do these as paid sessions, but I also do these for channel points for people who are subscribed on my Twitch channel. So if you watch the streams and you're subscribed there, you can get it a lot cheaper than doing like the full donation, or a lot more reliably than waiting for the RNG of possibly getting picked. Other than that, we also have links in the description if you want to join my guild on NA Reboot. We try to make boss parties together, help each other move forward together, but mainly people who want to be helped, right? People who are putting in the time to learn things and who want to get better. Not people who are just like joining because they want to get carried and want to get handouts. That's typically not what we do. We have a built-out alliance as well with a very strong guild that does things in a similar way. And I also have a link in the description if you have data for me, if you're doing your new battle analyses, because I'll have to update all of my info because a lot of people are going to get way stronger. So if you're doing a new BA right now because of the update, please send me the data. There's a link in the description where you can very easily put in your class, your level, and then put in the BA, whether you have an Oz ring or not. And then I can use that information to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not publish, populate. That's the word I'm looking for. To populate my my data sheet. So that would be very very useful if you guys could do that. Also, if you're training in new areas, monster skill per hour is very useful to have, so we can kind of get a grasp on how the mobbing is for all the characters further in the game. So if you would like to commit that data and send that my way, would be very, very welcome, so I can keep making all of the commands that I have and keep them up to date for all the new players that are coming or people who are looking for which maps to train in. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. No, it's second big long upload on the channel, so you're probably watching this one tomorrow. But you know, you got to watch something while the game is constantly breaking down. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being on watching the YouTube channel. Hope you guys appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.